Hi, I'm Jason Frugé. Welcome to Frugé-ology. In this mini-series, we talk about my three favorite things, cigars, whiskey, and barbecue, and I compare them to my other favorite thing, information security. Today, I'm excited to share with you how I reverse sear a steak on the barbecue. What I have here are 4 prime cut ribeye sticks. As you can see, these are very thick cuts. When you reverse sear on the smoker, the thicker the steak is usually better. A lot of times when you cook these and you're trying to just pan fry a steak, it's hard to get that consistent color throughout. When you cook it on the smoker at a low temperature, it really gets all the way through there, nice consistent heat level. You're gonna love the results. Let me tell you how I do it. First, I'm gonna go ahead and start seasoning these. I use a base coat of olive oil. That's optional, not everybody does this. I do it because I get a nice crust starts to form even during the cooking process while it's on the smoker. I'm gonna season these with pepper and salt, and then I'm going to use some celery salt as well, and then I add a little bit of rosemary because I like a good aromatic on there. I just think it adds to it quite a bit. I'm going to be a little careful not to get too much salt on there, as my doctor likes to tell me. So what I want to do is put these on the smoker at about 225 degrees. And then I'm going to let those cook. It's going to take these roughly an hour. Be prepared for it to take even longer. Everything's slow with barbecue. But I want to get them into an internal temperature of about 115 degrees, 120 degrees, because I like my meat to be medium rare, which is the best way to eat a steak. If you like them to be a little warmer, it's totally reasonable. You can do that. But after you take them off the smoker, once they hit that internal temperature, you're going to want to let them rest for a little while. I like to let them rest 15, 20 minutes. That's optional. Your mileage may vary. I find that it really adds to the flavor to let them rest before I sear them. And when I sear them, what I want to do then is get a skillet and get it super hot. The hotter you can get it, just take a skillet like this, put it on the oven. Cooktop, if you can get it up to 300, 400, 500 degrees, even better. And you want to just sear it for about 2 minutes on each side. And with a real thick steak like this, it's important to not just sear the top and bottom. You also want to turn it on its side and sear those sides for a little while too, and cook down that fat. It really adds to the texture. And that's all you're doing, because the steak is already done, but you're searing it so you can get that steak, that nice crispy texture that you like on your steaks. So last episode, we talked about how to build an incident response plan. And what I promised is during this episode, I want to talk about how to test that plan. It's so important to test your plan. You know, anybody who's ever had the opportunity to listen to like a 911 tape, you know that during an unexpected emergency, when people are desperate, they really lose their ability to think straight, think clearly, talk about what happened, recall the incident, and sometimes even ask for the help they need. It becomes quite difficult for them to communicate. I've seen that happen organizationally. I see that even happen to CISOs. It's important to make sure that you practice by creating a scenario that looks like a real incident so people can start to navigate through the incident response plan and understand the role that they play. In this process that I use, and there are a lot of different ways to do this, I found this one works best. What I like to do is get real creative. I'll create a story and I'll put it into a PowerPoint. And each slide has a different component of the story. Get real creative, like I said. Do something like, who knows? You might have an IT contractor. Maybe they were taking recovered hard drives and selling them on the internet. Maybe those hard drives contain company PII and maybe company customer information. And somebody bought those hard drives and then used the information on the hard drives to create fraudulent activities. Now you've got law enforcement involved. Make it complicated. Get really creative because these breaches usually are complicated. And so you want to test your mettle. And so then invite all of the folks that need to be there who are going to be engaged in your incident response plan. So we're talking about human resources, general counsel, your CFO, customer support head. All of those folks need to be invited. But here's the key. Send them the PowerPoint deck about a month in advance along with that plan. Let them know and send it to your CEO too so everyone's aware. We're going to be practicing this in a month from now so they have time to prepare. If you don't give them that time to prepare, if you say, tomorrow we're going to do a tabletop and you're going to be tested in front of the CEO, everyone's going to call in sick. So don't go there, right? Give them some time. Let them know that you've got an open door. If they want to talk about the process and what their role is to get prepared in advance, happy to help, right? The day of the event, hopefully you have a deputy you can bring with you, someone who can help take notes. You're going to step through that scenario, get everyone in a big room, step through the scenario. Okay, this just happened. What role do you play? Now, what role do you play? Get a healthy dialogue going. People are going to start asking questions. Well, I think what I would do is this. And they're going to take suggestions from the group. When do we engage public relations? When do we engage the legal team? When do we, whatever. These questions are going to come up, and it's a healthy conversation. You're taking notes the whole time. Hopefully your deputy's taking notes. Maybe some other folks are taking notes. But you're looking for where the weaknesses are in the process, right? That's what those notes are, and where the strengths are, too. You want to tell that story. After it's over, thank everybody, then have a little huddle with your core team, your deputy, and whoever else, and talk about what worked and what didn't work. Those folks who need some help, you can meet with them separately, help get them ready for the event, of a real breach. There's going to be some action items. What's important next is to not only follow up with those folks, but also report your results thematically. I don't think anybody wants to, get real specific about who needed help, but in a theme, did we get an A, a B, or a C? Let your CEO know that. It's important that they know that you, as the CISO, as the head of security, you're taking steps to practice what would happen in a breach. In addition to your normal activities of preventing breaches, if a breach does happen, you've got the muscle memory in the organization that's needed to minimize the time of a breach and the impact of a breach. And that's always good for you to do that for the company. So hopefully that inspired you guys. I'll see you next time on Frugé-ology. I'm going to go get these on the smoker.